Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and in today's video we're going to be doing some maintenance on the E36 M3. There's a couple of items that I want to address. I do want to get an oil change on the car. I did buy some oil for that. On top of that too, I also bought some new coil packs for the car. The original coil packs are still in the car, and I believe it has almost 170,000 miles on it. From the research that I made, they said that you actually don't need to replace your coil packs unless they are failing. But for me, it's just one of those things where it's just preventative maintenance. On top of that, I just want to make sure that my spark is really good. I changed the spark plugs a couple of months ago, so I don't think that's an issue, but the coil packs have been there since '95, so we're definitely going to get that addressed, and I'll show you what parts we're going to be using. Alright guys, so in terms of the coil packs, I did go with OEM. Bremmy is actually an OE supplier of original BMW parts, so I did go with them. They are a little more expensive than your cheapo coil packs, but I think it's definitely worth it. You don't want to go cheap on these things, especially if it's electrical. I just want to make sure that we have a really good spark. As you can see here, this is what they look like. And in order to have this installed, you also need these. I believe these are the coil pack boots. So this essentially plugs right into the coil pack, just like this. And I'm going to show you what it looks like underneath the hood. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and take this cover off. Alright, so as you can see here, these are the coil packs, and these ones are actually Bremmy as well. Go ahead and disconnect them first. I think these pop up. Disconnect the harness from the coil packs here. And while we're here and we can see these spark plugs, I had an issue a while back where there was oil getting into the oil wells, and that's because the valve cover gasket was leaking into those areas, which is not an uncommon thing on these E36s, but I kind of fixed it getaway last time and put some gasket sealer around the spark plug wells. But the last time they did the supercharger install, we don't want that to fall in there. They ended up redoing the valve cover gasket, so we're going to take a look and see how they look. I'm going to go ahead and undo all these nuts, because the last thing you want is for a nut to fall into the spark plug well. So we're going to go ahead and pop these off. No oil on this one. Very good. No oil on this one. Oh wait, nope, there's a little bit of oil right up here. We'll take a closer look at that. Number 3 looks pretty good. Number 4 looks good. Oh, this one's tough to get out. That's not good. What the hell? That was on there tight. 5 looks good. Now number 6 tends to leak, so that comes out really easily. Yep. Got a little bit of oil around there, but nothing too crazy. A little bit of oil in cylinder 2. A little bit in 3, but you know, it's not too bad. I don't think it's enough for me to worry about. Just a little bit. That should be okay. I think we might have resolved that issue a little bit when we tightened up the valve cover screws when we were looking for that oil leak a couple videos ago, but okay, looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna set up these new coil packs and we'll compare them to the old one. Okay, these are definitely one of those things where, you know, it's not a fun mod, but it's definitely a mod that it's not even really a mod, it's more of a basic maintenance kind of issue. But unfortunately, the reason why I'm doing this type of preventative maintenance stuff is because my daily driver, which is a 2007 Chevy Cobalt, right over there, has has actually gone down. It rolled over 200,000 miles, and soon after that, I think the timing chain jumped. So it does start, it does turn over, but it takes a lot of time. You actually have to kind of prime the fuel pump for it to jump over, and it's just not running right. So took to a shop. They had confirmed with me that the timing has jumped. They told me it's not worth fixing, but I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to open it up or keep it the way it is or just donate it. This is essentially what it looks like. You have your boot right here and your coil pack. All you got to do is connect these two parts together. Obviously this doesn't go in there, so what you do is, if I remember correctly, you push in and you'll hear a click. Or not. So that's pretty much in there. Well, you'll kind of feel a click. That works. So I'm just going to go down the line here. Oh, see, there's a click. I'm not crazy. All right, we're just going back where we went. See, one thing that I've seen people do is maybe you can put some dielectric grease in here and just round it on the inside, but kind of hesitant doing that because I don't want the metal piece of the spark plug to get in contact with it. But I do have some Q-tips. Maybe I'll just do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll just have to put a really light layer there. See, is this what I need? Yes, it is. Okay. Where art thou, Q-tips? Ah, here we are. Okay. So a little bit goes a long way. Just a little bit. Just a little to just wipe it on the inside. Don't want to go too far in. Just enough to grease the outer ring. And we'll just go down the line and do that. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. And in there. Number 6. So we're gonna go ahead and start bolting these guys back in. And we're gonna connect the harnesses back. That's good. All right, that's good. There we go. Okay. All right, close her down, and let's fire her up. All right, fingers crossed. It actually starts up, I don't know if it's placebo, but it seems like it started up fairly quickly. So I think what I'm gonna do now, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and drive around real quick. Warm up the oil, and then we're gonna come back and do that oil change. Alright guys, so what I ended up doing was actually reversing the car out, put it on this incline here in my driveway, and then put the ramps right next to the garage entrance here. That way I kind of have a better angle. I could barely fit under the car when it was flat. So this is either the smartest thing I've ever done or the stupidest thing I've ever done, but I put some tire chocks, or whatever you call them, in the back for safety. And I also put a little jack stand underneath, just in case. can never be too safe. Alright guys, so for this oil filter change, we're going to go ahead and use just one of these stock man filters. Here's the part code here, HU926 4 times. And we're also going to be using Royal Purple 10W40, and we'll get into the details as to why I'm using this particular oil. Alright guys, so today we're going to be using 10W40 as our weight for our engine oil. The reason why I chose this is because my car does have higher mileage. It's closing in on 170,000 miles. And supposedly these cars do work better with heavier weights, the more mileage that they have, and I just want more protection for the engine itself. If you look on the BMW forums, you'll get a ton of different answers. I have run 5W30, which is, I believe, the standard weight for this car before. I've run 5W40 before, and I think the last oil change I got at my mechanic shop, they never asked me, but they put in 20W60, I believe, based on the invoice, which isn't actually too crazy when you think about it, when you consider some of the people on the forums have been using that weight oil, especially for track days. But because this is kind of like my daily driver / weekend car now, I think a good compromise is 10W40. In regards to Royal Purple, I have used Royal Purple products before, but never as an engine oil. This is my first time using this. This is the high performance street motor oil. I have heard really good things about this. It is kind of expensive. It's $10 a bottle. You're gonna need at least 7 of these. I did order them off of Amazon. They were on the pricier side, but let's see how it does. This is my first time using it, and hopefully it does pretty well. So let's go ahead and drain the car. We're gonna go ahead and change the filter as well, and we'll get this done. All right, so first things first is we're gonna go ahead and drain the oil on the oil pan. Ooh, that is hot. I think I'm gonna end up dropping this in here. Ooh. I am gonna drop this shit. Okay. Not bad. I have had cleaner before. While that's cleaning, or draining as I should say, we're gonna go ahead and take out the oil filter, which should be this little guy right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Ooh, that is also hot. Now you can see there's a little gasket right there. Careful that that does not fall. Oh wow. That is not good. What the f? There's no filter in there. All right, well, that didn't go as planned. Wow, I can't believe that there was literally no oil filter in there. That actually really makes me angry, but yeah, I mean, I can't fix it now. I mean, all I can do is put a new one in and hope that there wasn't any engine damage or anything. We're gonna take a look at the oil though and see what it looks like, but man, that is just, it just doesn't make any sense. Anyways, let's go ahead and get it buttoned up. We'll take a look at the oil. I'm gonna put the new filter in here and turn it back on. All right guys, so I went ahead and just kind of wiped off all these parts here. There are a couple of new gaskets that come in the kit, and I'll go ahead and show you where those go. Wow, I still can't believe that there was no oil filter in there. Drove it around probably no more than 3,000 miles. I'm hoping there isn't too much damage, if any. I do know older cars back in the day didn't run oil filters. I'm hoping that the oil that we used last oil change was of decent quality. I ran the car pretty hard, so that kind of worries me, but I mean, there's nothing we can do about it now. I am going to reach out to my mechanic shop and let them know what I found and see what they have to say about it. But in the meantime, we might as well finish what we started. So there was a crush washer that was on here. I went ahead and removed it. That's the oil pan nut. I already cleaned off the oil filter housing cap. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this Royal Purple and oil up that gasket. That way we make sure that there's a good seal. I don't know, guys. Tell me what you guys would do if you were in my scenario and you found out that there is no oil filter in your car, which is another reason why I encourage you guys to do your own maintenance. So we're gonna take off this gasket that's on the oil filter nut. Okay, looks good. And this goes on top just like that. This goes in there. And then we'll reinstall the oil filter. Alright, so we're just gonna go ahead and drop this little guy in there. Tie this guy up. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna put some of the new oil in there. We just tightened everything up, 18 foot-pounds for the top. For the oil filter, 18 foot-pounds for the drain. I'm gonna put the new oil in, and then I'm gonna start dumping the oil back into the canisters. So you're gonna need at least about, when I was reading on the forum, 6.9 liters, which is essentially 6.9 quarts, which is about 7. So I'm definitely going to round up. All right, looks like we're right in the middle, guys. So I am satisfied with that. All right, guys, so I have seen some pretty dirty oil before. I mean, it's pretty dirty. I mean, it still has some consistency to it. That's probably due to the heavier weight oil, but I have seen worse. I'm hoping for the best. I don't think, at least I don't want to think that there's been any long-term damage, but I'm sure there's been something going on. I'm gonna drain this into some containers. We'll take a look, see if there's any metal or anything underneath there. All right, guys, so we're gonna start pouring this back into these containers here. Hopefully there's no metal shards or anything. Bearings. I have to do better with my pouring. If I can get 7 quarts out of this, I think I'll be pretty happy. At least that tells me that my engine isn't burning oil. So I'm gonna say that was about 6.5 quarts, which isn't actually too bad. I mean, I'll burn half a quart considering I drove it for about 3,000 miles before I changed the oil. No metal shards that I can see. Doesn't look very shiny to me. A couple of these are just bubbles. Not too bad. Now this is more of a test to see how well Royal Purple will clean, considering we didn't have an oil filter to begin with. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. So we went ahead and put the new coil packs on the car, got rid of those original ones, at least I think they're the original ones. We also did an oil change, oil filter install. Yeah, I'm pretty mad about that. I'm pretty frustrated about it. I'll have to reach out to my mechanic, let him know what's going on. I don't know what happened there, but for the most part, the old oil that was in there, I put in 7 quarts of new oil. About 6.5 kind of got drained out. It was pretty dirty. I didn't see any metal shards, so hopefully no long-term damage. But it still sucks though, knowing that you didn't have any protection filtering out that oil. But it is what it is. I can't change the past. I can't change the way I drove the car for the last 3,000 miles. But hopefully everything turns out okay. That's pretty much it for today's video. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to subscribe to my channel, hey, I greatly appreciate it. Follow my builds, follow my adventures. Got a bunch of new stuff coming up as well. So until next time, guys, remember, respect your elders. Peace.